What if the actors of The Chosen are not who you think they are when it comes to faith? What if the man who plays Jesus has a religion that is different from what millions expected? What if the disciples we watch on screen follow completely different paths? When the cameras are off today, the mystery is no longer a mystery. The real beliefs of the cast have finally been revealed, and the truth may surprise you. Chosen has become more than a TV series. It is a global movement that reaches into the hearts of millions across countries, languages, and cultures. People watch the episodes and feel connected to the stories of Jesus and his followers in ways that few shows have ever achieved. But with such a powerful impact, there is a natural question in the minds of viewers: do the actors who bring these holy characters to life actually believe in the same faith that they portray on screen? This question has grown louder with every new season. The more people fall in love with Jonathan Roumie as Jesus, or Shahar, Isaac as Simon Peter, the more they want to know what these actors believe when the lights go down and the cameras stop rolling. Fans see the cast as larger-than-life figures, but behind the roles they are ordinary people with their own journeys, doubts, and convictions. Some grew up inside Christian families. Others discovered faith later in life. Some follow entirely different religions, and some choose to keep their beliefs private. The curiosity is not just gossip. It is about connection. Audiences feel deeply moved by the show and want to understand whether the actors share the same spiritual ground. It is like wanting to know if the singer of your favorite song truly feels the words they sing. The Chosen tells a story that is sacred to many, and so people are eager to see how personal belief and professional acting come together for each cast member. Another reason this topic has gained attention is because the show is not made like most television projects. The Chosen is funded by fans, supported by donations, and followed by communities of faith across the globe. Because of this, many viewers feel like they are part of the journey. They want transparency, honesty, and a sense of closeness with the cast. Knowing what religion the actors follow is almost like being invited into their private world. Still, the answer is not simple. Not everyone in the cast speaks openly about religion. Some are very vocal and proud of their faith. Others are more private and rarely discuss what they believe. But the one thing they all share is respect for the story they are telling. They know that millions are watching not just for entertainment, but for spiritual meaning that responsibility has created a unique atmosphere both on and off set, and so the curiosity continues. Who among them shares the Christian faith of the show? Who follows another path? Who found themselves changed by the experience of playing these powerful roles? These are the questions that drive the interest and keep fans searching for answers. In the next part of our journey, we will begin to uncover those answers, starting with the man behind the vision, the director of The Chosen, Dallas Jenkins. When people talk about The Chosen, they often focus on the actors, but behind every powerful scene stands the man who dreamed it into existence, Dallas Jenkins. To understand the faith of the cast, we must first look at the faith of the one who shaped the project. Dallas is not just a filmmaker, he is the son of Jerry B. Jenkins, the best-selling Christian author of the Left Behind series, which means he grew up surrounded by stories of faith and imagination. From an early age, he was pulled into a world where storytelling was not just about entertainment, but about carrying a message that could touch hearts for generations. But Dallas Jenkins did not rise without struggle. Early in his career, he faced a huge setback when one of his films failed at the box office. Moment that could have ended his path as a director instead became a turning point. Dallas often says that it was in that season of disappointment that he heard the call to create something different, something not controlled by Hollywood studios. Something made for the people and owned by the people. That call became The Chosen, a show about Jesus and his followers told in a way that felt human, real, and emotionally raw. Dallas Jenkins is very open about his Christian faith. He describes himself as an evangelical believer who has a personal relationship with Christ, but what makes his vision stand out is the way he approaches the story. He does not want to preach or deliver sermons through the show. Instead, he focuses on telling the story of Jesus in a way that people of any faith background can connect with. He believes that the humanity of Jesus is just as important as his divinity, and this belief is what shapes the tone of every scene on set. Dallas creates an environment that is almost like a ministry, but without forcing anyone into a particular mold. He allows actors from all faiths and backgrounds to bring their full selves to the project. He has said many times that the goal is not to make every cast member into a Christian, but to tell the story with truth and authenticity. He respects the differences among his team and encourages them to treat the material with reverence, no matter what they personally believe. This approach has made The Chosen more than just a series. It has become a bridge. Dallas's faith gives him the passion to tell the story, but his respect for diversity gives the show its strength. The result is a production where people of different religions, and even those with no religion, it all can come together to create something sacred for Dallas. The project is both personal and universal. It reflects his own walk of faith, but it also creates space for others to explore their own questions. Because of this, the curiosity about the cast's religion makes even more sense. Fans see the director's devotion and wonder how much of that devotion is shared by the people in front of the camera. Dallas Jenkins may not be the one portraying Jesus or the disciples, but his faith is the foundation of the entire production. Without it, The Chosen might never have existed. And with it, the story has reached places far beyond what anyone could have imagined. Next, we will move from the director behind the camera. Stands at the very center of the story, Jonathan Roumie, the actor who plays Jesus himself. His real faith may shock you even more than you expect. When audiences watch The Chosen, it is Jonathan Roumie who captures their hearts. His calm voice, his gentle eyes, his ability to carry both strength and compassion make viewers feel like they are meeting Jesus himself. But the question that has followed him from the very beginning is this: does Jonathan Roumie truly believe in the man he portrays? Or is it only an act? The answer is far more powerful than many expected. Jonathan Roumie was born in New York to a father from Egypt and a mother of Irish descent. He grew up in a Catholic family and faith was always a part of his life. Yet, like many people, his spiritual journey was not without struggles. Before The Chosen, Jonathan was an actor searching for steady work. He faced rejection after rejection. He has admitted that he even questioned his career and whether he was on the right path. It was during those low moments that his faith carried him. He turned to prayer not only for strength, but also for direction. When was cast as Jesus in The Chosen, it was more than just another role for Jonathan. It became a calling. He has spoken in interviews about how deeply personal the experience is. He does not see the character as something separate from himself. Instead, he approaches the role with prayer, fasting, and reflection. He often says that playing Jesus has transformed his own life, making him more aware of how he treats others, how he speaks, and how he lives. Each day, his Catholic faith is not something he hides. He openly talks about attending Mass, praying the Rosary, and trusting in God's guidance. He has also described moments on set when he felt the presence of the Holy Spirit guiding his performance. This is one of the reasons audiences feel such a deep connection to his portrayal. It does not feel like acting because Jonathan himself is living through the story with his own heart. At the same time, Jonathan has made it clear that he is not perfect. He is not trying to replace the figure he plays or to set himself up as holy. He admits his weaknesses and says that portraying Jesus is both a great honor and a heavy responsibility. He carries that weight with humility and often reminds fans not to confuse the actor with the Savior. Yet his devotion to his faith is impossible to ignore, and it adds a depth to the role that could never be achieved by technique alone. For many viewers, knowing that Jonathan Roumie is a devoted Catholic makes his performance even more meaningful. They feel that the love they sense on screen comes from a real place within him, but it has also sparked questions about how other cast members compare. Some share his deep religious conviction, while others approach their roles from different beliefs altogether. And it is in that diversity where The Chosen becomes something larger than a single faith. Jonathan's journey from struggling actor to the face of Jesus shows how powerful faith can be in shaping not only a career but a destiny. His story sets the stage for the rest of the cast, each with their own backgrounds, their own struggles, and their own revelations. And as we move forward, we will see that not everyone in the series shares the same path. Some follow a very different faith, some remain private, and some have been changed forever by the roles they play. Among the faces of the chosen few carry as much intensity as Shahar Isaac, the actor who brings Simon Peter to life on screen. He is bold, fiery, and passionate, always ready to leap before he thinks, always caught between faith and doubt but off-screen. Shahar Isaac is wrapped in mystery, unlike Jonathan Roumie, who openly shares his beliefs. Shahar has chosen to remain quiet about his personal religion. He does not give many interviews, he rarely posts about his private life, and when it comes to faith, he stays silent. This silence has made fans even more curious who is the man behind Simon Peter Shahar. Isaac was born in Israel and trained in acting in the United States. His cultural background naturally leads many people to assume things about his faith, but the truth is that he has never confirmed or denied anything. Some believe he may be Jewish because of his heritage. Others think he might be Christian since he plays such a central disciple in the story, but the real answer is still unknown. What we do know is that Shahar pours himself completely into the role he channels both the strength and the weakness of Peter and makes the character human rather than a saint carved from stone. That depth of acting does not come from reading lines alone, it comes from experience, emotion, and understanding, even if he never explains where his inspiration comes from. Shahar's mystery is part of what makes him so powerful on screen. He allows the audience to focus on the character rather than the actor. While many cast members are discussed in terms of their religion, Shahar remains an enigma, and maybe that is his strength. The lack of answers lets viewers project their own feelings onto him. It allows Peter's journey of faith and doubt to stand on its own without being tied to a specific religion outside the show. Other disciples in the cast also bring their own backgrounds. Patel, who plays Matthew, grew up in a Hindu family. His journey is very different from the Christian story he helps tell, yet Perez has said that stepping into Matthew's shoes gave him a new perspective on faith, humility, and transformation. He treats the role with deep respect, and for many fans that respect is what matters most. Elizabeth Tabish, who plays Mary Magdalene, has spoken about how portraying such a broken yet redeemed woman changed her outlook on life. She has shared that she struggled with despair before joining The Chosen, and that the character helped her rediscover light and hope. Noah James as Andrew brings gentle warmth to every scene, and while his personal faith is less known, his sincerity shows in the way he interacts with both cast and audience together. These actors form the circle of disciples, a group of people from different faiths, cultures, and life paths who join to tell one of the oldest and most sacred stories in history. Their differences could divide them, but instead those differences give the series a richness and a humanity that would not exist otherwise. For Shahar Isaac, the mystery remains. For Patel, the journey crosses into new territory. For Elizabeth Tabish, the role became healing. For Noah James, the focus is on honesty and craft. Each of them shows that you do not have to share the same religion to tell a story that changes lives. This is where The Chosen shines. Its cast reflects the world, real people from different walks of life carrying the weight of a story that is bigger than all of them. As the show grows, the curiosity about their beliefs grows. To some answer clearly, others stay quiet, but together they remind us that faith is not always about one label. Sometimes it is about the respect, the love, and the truth you bring to your work. When the cameras stop rolling and the actors step out of character, something unusual happens on the set of The Chosen. Unlike most film productions where cast and crews scatter the moment a scene ends, this set often feels more like a small community than a workplace. Actors from different religions, writers, directors, and even crew members who may not share the same faith gather together in an atmosphere filled with respect and reverence. It is not just about making a show. It is about building an environment where sacred stories are treated with care. Dallas Jenkins has created a culture where faith is not forced but welcomed. He never demands that anyone follow a certain belief, yet he makes space for people to reflect, pray, or simply be still. Many days begin with quiet moments of prayer. Sometimes it is just a few words whispered before the scene. Sometimes it is the entire cast and crew holding hands in a circle, asking for wisdom and strength before they continue shooting. Even those who do not follow Christianity often join out of respect and unity. They may not pray in the same way, but they understand that something meaningful is happening. Jonathan Roumie, who plays Jesus, often takes part in these moments. His presence carries a calm energy, and many of the cast members say that just being near him reminds them to treat the story with reverence. But it is not only Jonathan. The actors who play the disciples also bring their own spirit to the set. Patel has spoken about how the environment pushed him to look deeper at themes of humility and grace. Elizabeth Tabish has admitted that sometimes scenes would bring her to tears, not because of the acting, but because of how real the experience felt. The atmosphere of faith on set also comes through in unexpected ways. During breaks between scenes, cast members will often talk about spiritual questions. It's not arguments, but honest conversations. They ask about forgiveness, about doubt, about what it means to truly believe. These talks do not always lead to agreement, but they build bonds of respect and friendship that make their performances even stronger. What happens behind the scenes bleeds naturally into what the audience sees on screen. For many cast and crew members, the set itself has become a kind of classroom. Each day is not just about filmmaking, but about learning from one another and being challenged by the story. They are telling the diversity of beliefs actually strengthens this process. Some approach it as history, some as personal devotion, some as pure art, yet together they form a harmony that no single background could create alone. This is why fans often say they feel something different when watching The Chosen. They are not just seeing actors play roles, they are witnessing a group of people who are truly invested in the meaning of what they create. The atmosphere of respect, prayer, and openness behind the camera gives the series a depth that audiences can feel even if they never see the set themselves in. Yet the story does not end with what happens on set. The Chosen has stirred waves of reaction far beyond the filming location. In churches, in living rooms, and even across social media, fans have expressed shock, inspiration, and sometimes controversy as they learn about the real faiths of their favorite actors. What happens after the cameras turn off has created just as much impact as the scenes themselves. When the truth about the cast's real beliefs began to spread, fans did not stay silent. Some were shocked, others were inspired, and many found themselves thinking about faith in ways they never expected. For some viewers, learning that Jonathan Roumie was a devoted Catholic only deep in their admiration. They felt comforted knowing that the man who plays Jesus lives a life guided by prayer and devotion. For these fans, every word he speaks on screen now carries extra weight because they believe it comes from a place of sincerity. But not every reaction was simple. When people discovered that Patel, who plays Matthew, came from a Hindu background, it sparked a wave of discussion. Some were surprised that someone outside the Christian faith could portray one of the most beloved apostles so convincingly. Yet, instead of criticism, many fans saw this as proof of the universality of the story. They realized that the message of The Chosen can move anyone regardless of religion. Others even said it strengthened their respect for Perez because he showed that you do not have to be Christian to approach the story with reverence and humility. Elizabeth Tabish's story also reached fans on a deep level when she shared that she struggled with despair and found healing while playing Mary Magdalene. People wrote messages saying her honesty gave them hope. Many said they felt seen because they too had battled dark times and felt lifted through faith. Her openness made Mary Magdalene's journey of redemption feel even more real, not just as a character, but as a mirror of human struggle. In social media and in churches, conversations about the cast's faith grew louder. Some people questioned whether actors of different religions should tell Christian stories. Others defended the show, saying that the power of the series lies in its diversity. They argued that art becomes stronger when people from different backgrounds come together. The debates became part of the cultural impact of The Chosen, spreading the show's influence beyond entertainment into serious discussions about faith, identity, and storytelling. The global nature of The Chosen has also shaped fan reactions in countries where Christianity is a minority religion. Fans were deeply moved to see a project that respected faith but welcomed diversity. They felt included rather than excluded. The fact that the cast reflected a mixture of beliefs made the series feel accessible to wider audiences while still honoring the Christian heart of the story in this way. The Chosen did something rare. It bridged cultural and religious divides while still staying rooted in its message. The impact of these revelations has not weakened the show. Instead, it has strengthened its reach. Fans now follow not just the story of Jesus, but also the personal journeys of the actors. They write letters, they share testimonies, they travel to filming locations, hoping to be part of something bigger. For many people, The Chosen has become more than a series. It is an ongoing dialogue between faith, art, and human experience. Yet the curiosity remains each. New season brings new questions. Each new interview sparks fresh conversations. The cultural impact of The Chosen continues to grow, not only because of the story tells, but because of the real human stories behind it. And as this wave of reaction keeps spreading, one thing becomes clear. Whether or not the actors share the exact faith of the roles they play, their performances have touched millions and opened doors for dialogue that once seemed impossible. As the final curtain falls on this journey through the real religions of the Chosen cast, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Faith is not confined to one label, one background, or one tradition. What makes The Chosen so extraordinary is not that every actor believes the same thing, but that every actor approaches the story with honesty and respect. Dallas Jenkins carries his evangelical Christian faith into the vision that guides the entire project. Jonathan Roumie lives out his mute Catholic devotion in the way he embodies Jesus. Patel brings the discipline and reverence from his Hindu background. Elizabeth Tabish transforms or struggles into a performance that mirrors redemption. Shahar guards his private faith with silence, allowing mystery to breathe life into Simon Peter. Together, they show that the power of a story does not always come from perfect agreement, but from the passion of people willing to give everything they have to something greater than themselves. For the fans, these revelations have created both shock and inspiration. Some find comfort knowing that their favorite actors share their faith. Others are challenged to think differently when they learn that disciples on screen come from religions outside Christianity. But this diversity has become a strength rather than a weakness. The Chosen has crossed borders, cultures, and creeds, reaching hearts that may never have been touched by a traditional sermon. It has shown that storytelling, when done with sincerity, has the power to bridge differences and open conversations that once felt impossibly. At the heart of it all lies a paradox. The story being told is ancient, sacred, and familiar. Yet the people telling it are modern, diverse, and unpredictable. Their real religions do not weaken the message. Instead, they remind us that truth can be carried by anyone willing to honor it. That is why millions watch and millions donate. That is why the series grows with each season, because it is not just about what the actors believe. It is about the fire they bring to the screen and the faith they inspire in the audience. In the end, The Chosen stands as a living example that faith can be portrayed, shared, and respected, even among those who walk different spiritual paths. Maybe that is the real miracle of the show. Not only that it tells the story of Jesus, but that it gathers people from across the world and across religions to make it happen as viewers. We may come searching for answers about what the cast believes, but what we find is something larger. We find that the story of faith is not just theirs, it is ours too.